For those who don't know me, my name is Brandon Ivey. I'm a Regional Vice President with Vital. Thank you guys for joining us tonight on a Saturday night at that, especially those on the East Coast. And we're going to start with the Vital is one thing. It's an attitude. It's a little thing that makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. Mindset is everything. It is 99% of your business is mindset. There's 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks in a year, 12 months in a year. Everybody is allotted the same amount of time. But what is the difference between those who make things happen and those who wish for things to happen? Number one, it's in the mind. I made a video training called The Poverty Mindset, and sadly, most people have a poverty mindset or a job mindset, meaning this. Where you are today is the sum result of every decision you've ever made in your life up to this point, including your bank account. Everybody wishes for something different, but they're not willing to do anything different, or they fail to realize that just a change in decision will be a change in their life. If you want things to change in your life, you have to change the things in your life. The decisions you make today, the way you think today, will determine where you will be 5 years from now. And the bad news is, 5 years is going to come anyway. You can't press pause on life. You can't hit the reset button, as I like to tell my son who always plays video games. It's a running clock. There is no timeout. And life happens to everybody. Everybody, no matter what your status in life is. The difference is on how you handle what happens to you. And it starts with your attitude and your mindset. Now, good news for all of you now, even if you were to log off right now, is that you are now consciously aware. You can't use the excuse that I was just ignorant. You're consciously aware that if you want to change the things in your life, you got to start with changing your attitude. Most people don't even understand that. They want to play the lottery. They want to wish for things to get better. They even pray for things to get better and don't realize that prayer without work is ceasing. You need to take action. But before you take action, why are you taking action? What is your why? Generically, we'll say, well, maybe your why is you want to spend more time with your family. You want to be able to have college education for children. You want to be able to purchase a new home, be debt-free, family vacation, give more to church, retirement. You want to get a boat, a car, RV. Basically, you want toys. I promise you, when you hear my type of training, I am not generic in mindset training. I go beyond that because this isn't enough. Everybody wants these things. But since everybody wants it, why is it that people aren't doing the things necessary to get it? Because their why is not strong enough. What do I mean by that? Well, since everybody wants to spend time with their family, but they're not spending enough time with their family, obviously whatever their why is not strong enough. So since we're doing this late at night, and normally we do this in the morning, but I have basketball games with my son right now, so I moved it to Saturday nights, and I like this. I might keep it this way. For those of you, especially on the East Coast, that's about to go to sleep, I'm going to give you a little assignment to do. Before you go to sleep tonight, I want you to start thinking about something. What would you do if money was no longer an issue in your life? Money was no longer an issue. Meaning, not you won the lottery, but you have unlimited resources. And since you know you have unlimited resources, you go out there and buy everything your heart desires. You buy all your homes, your summer homes, your winter homes, your vacation homes. You go out and buy all the cars you want. You got your Aston Martins, your Bentleys, your Rolls. You decide to go on a shopping spree in France, New York, and Beverly Hills. You decide to take 6-month-long vacations in Costa Rica. You decide to travel the world like my brother. My brother is a very successful businessman, and he just touched down in Iceland this morning. Why Iceland? Because there's some aurora borealis event taking place that doesn't happen. It only happens once every 50 years. So since he has the resources to do so, him and his buddies got on a plane and flew to Iceland. And I asked him, when are you coming back? I don't know, whenever I feel like it. Think about that. You have the resources. You come back when you feel like it. You help out your family and purchase them their cars, help them get to college, help them get out of debt. And you finally come home a year later, and it's Monday morning, and you wake up automatically because you're used to doing so on Monday mornings, and you realize that you have nowhere to go because you don't work a job anymore. And you already spent, you think about, okay, well, what am I going to do? Let me go buy something. Well, you already bought everything you wanted. And you have more money in the bank account than before you started on your shopping spree. Here's the question. What would you do with your time? This is a very important question that 99% of people never ask themselves. The most they ask themselves is, where do I want to be 5 years from now? What am I willing to do to get it? What would you do with your time now after you went on your shopping sprees? Not like the lottery. See, most people who won the lottery go broke after 10 years. You have more money in the bank than before you started. What is your passion? And I want you to capture this, and this is even more important. How does it make you feel to be able to do whatever you want and use your God-given talents that you've been put on this earth to do with no consequences and no time limit? How does it make you feel? I want you to be able to close your eyes and capture that feeling. Let your brain believe it has already happened. You got to trick your brain. It's a trick here. When I was young, they always told me in Sunday school, my mom always told me when I was sick, thank the Lord for healing me. And I never got that. I'm like, what are you talking about, Mom? I'm still sick. No, be thankful for the healing that's about to come. It hasn't come yet. I'll be thankful once I'm healed. No, it doesn't work that way. And I didn't get that till I was much older. I didn't understand it. But you're tricking your brain. So I want you to capture the feeling and know and decide what it is that you would do with your time. What are you passionate about? That you will do no matter how much money you're going to get paid to do it. That's not what's driving you. That's very important. People say, or my peers in the industry, and I've listened to their trainings, I've read the books. They say your why is something that will make you get up on Monday morning to go to work. And that sounds good, right? I mean, think about it. Why in the world would you get up at the crack of dawn on a Monday morning to drive in rush hour traffic in thunder and lightning or snow and hail, to go to a job you don't like, to work with people you can't stand, to eat lunch at 12 when you're hungry at 11, to ask for permission to go to the bathroom as if you are a child, and you do this for 40 years of your life, knowing that you're going to retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends, knowing that nobody you know has ever finished the 40-40 plan and never came out on top, thinking that you can survive on 40% on what you couldn't survive on in the first place because $800 a month Social Security is not going to cut it. Why do people do this? Because they're responsible? Because they have bills to pay? Because they have a family to take care of? Or how about because they don't know any better? They're hard workers, and understand I am not knocking a job. My parents worked jobs. My grandparents worked jobs. They did what they had to do to put food on the table. But I also learned that the hardest working people in America are also the brokest. It's about working smarter. But why do people also do this? Ask a person that you know that's never been in a home-based business or ever had an inclination of entrepreneurship, and they work a 9-to-5 job, and they've been doing it for 10 years or so. And you ask them, why do you get up on Monday morning? They're like, what do you mean? They look at you like you're dumb. Is that a trick question? I got to go to work. Why? Well, I have bills to pay. I have to. See, the reason why that's not strong enough, because it's a habit. You do it whether you feel like it or not. You don't even think about it. It's a habit. Why is it a habit? It's a habit because you were taught to do this from elementary school. The first time your mom dropped you off at preschool so that she can go to work. And you go to elementary school. You go to school in the morning. You have break and recess and lunch. You come home in the afternoon. You do homework, watch afternoon cartoons, eat dinner, watch TV with the family, and go to sleep. And you do it over and over again. You graduate from college. Does that routine change? No. You now just move to a job where you're getting paid, but you have no more summer vacations. I remember the scariest thought when I graduated from Morehouse. I remember the first thing my aunt told me is, "Yay, congratulations. You can kiss your summer vacations goodbye. And say hello to 2-week vacations if you're lucky." Wow. Talk about a culture shock. In one sentence from my aunt. It didn't hit me. I didn't think of it like that. And then we do that 40 plan for the next 40 years of our lives. It's a habit to do that. It doesn't take effort. So that's not good enough. Another time people say, well, your why should be something that makes you cry. Because if it makes you cry, that means you're emotional about it. And that means you're willing to do the things that are difficult because you're willing to cry about it. That's how important it is to you. That doesn't work either. You want to know why? Everybody cries. Everybody's crying about something. Everybody's crying about their life, their situation, wishing that things can be better, wishing that they can afford for their kids to go to school, wishing that they had enough money to pay for that plane ticket to see the relative's funeral because they passed away unexpectedly. This is not strong enough, because if it was, whenever you cried, that emotional cry would motivate you to do something different than what you're currently doing so that you wouldn't have to cry anymore. You ever heard the story of the farmer that had an old dog on the porch? Kids would walk by every day and that dog would be moaning. Whining, bitching, moaning, and crying. And the kids asked the farmer, why is that dog moaning? Every time we come around, that dog is moaning. Why? Because the dog's laying on a nail. Well, why doesn't the dog get up off the nail? Why doesn't the dog get up off the nail? Give me 1 second here. I've got a guy blowing me up that should be on this training right now. Simultex doing a live training right now. www.liveonedream.info. And he's on the nail, and he said, it doesn't hurt bad enough. Isn't that how it is in our lives? I remember when I was younger and watching my uncles on a Friday night or a Saturday, and they're watching the football game or basketball, and they're listening to their conversations. And they're always, it's like complaining about what's going on in their jobs, right? Complaining about the boss, complaining about the slave driver, complaining about a coworker that stabbed them in the back and took their idea. And all they did was complain. And it's like it was a badge of honor. When my oldest cousin, started to get into the job force, and then he would join that conversation, it's like they pat him on the back because he's complaining about his job. Are you kidding me? It doesn't hurt bad enough. Why? Because at least they're comfortable with that nail. They know the pain that the nail's going to cause. They don't know the pain of getting up off the nail and starting their own home-based business. They don't know. They think the pain might be worse. So they'd rather stick with the pain that they know than take a risk. So they cry about it. And it is an emotional thing. Someone told me the other week when I told this story, well, Brandon, I thought you said that emotions are most powerful. They're more powerful than logic and facts. That is true. But the problem with crying, that emotion of crying, it is that it is an emotional release. Because you feel better after you cry. You got it out of your system. It's not enough to motivate you, because 90% of the people who cry would be doing something different so that they wouldn't have to cry anymore. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying, because I'm writing a book on this. I don't hear this being said in the industry anywhere. But I do know that all the top leaders understand this. They just don't talk about it. That's another hint. You hang around successful people enough, you start to realize that they operate in a certain way, and they know certain things that they don't teach. They only teach you so much, even in the books. Only so much. Not everybody's supposed to be wealthy. So you need to figure out your why. I can't tell you what your why is. But once you figure out your why, have an emotional attachment to your why. Think about it before you go to sleep. Think about it when you wake up. How does it make you feel? Trick your brain into believing that it's already happened. When I worked a job, on my lunch break, I would walk 2 blocks down to a park. And I would eat my lunch in that park. And I would always have headphones. And people thought I was listening to music, but I wasn't. I was listening to either Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Kevin Trudeau. And I will always tell myself, one day I'm going to be able to come to this park any time of the day because I feel like it. And when the 45-minute lunch break is up, because it took me 15 minutes to walk back to the job, so you know what? I don't have to go back to the job. I can go anywhere I want to go. And I would close my eyes, and then I would say, how does it feel? And I would capture that feeling. And my brain actually thought that it was real. And 2 weeks ago was my 6-month retirement anniversary. And I went down to that park. It was like 10:30 in the morning. Normally I wouldn't be at that park if I was working a job until about 12. And it was 10:30 in the morning. And I made a video, recorded a video, sitting on the same bench I always sat on every single day. And it felt freaking awesome. But you know what else? It was the same feeling I had when I was working a job and I pretended that this day was already here. See, time and space is a funny thing. There is no tomorrow. What you're feeling right now, if you procrastinate and wait for tomorrow, it's the same feeling you're going to feel right now. So why not feel it right now? It was interesting. I said, okay, let me take myself 6 months back. It was the same feeling, only now it's physically real, and 6 months ago it was only mentally real. You understand the difference? See, you ever heard of Walt Disney? Walt Disney, when he opened up Disneyland, he died before it opened up. And a reporter asked his son, isn't it a shame that, your dad's not here to see this day? And he said, you got it all wrong. It's because my dad saw this day is why we're here. So Angel wants to know, how do you do that, though? This is how you do it. You need to pretend like you're 4 years old again. Pretend like you're dreaming about anything in the world. Anything is possible. See, as adults, we think about reality. Reality hits us. We can't dream anymore. Got bills to pay. Don't have time to dream. You gotta dream again. You gotta think about what it is you want and then actually believe that you have it. Just for a moment. Just for a fleeting moment. And practice doing that. Your brain has neurons. And habit is only because your brain is used to thinking in a certain way and created those neurons, and the neurons are much bigger and stronger than anything else. And most of those neurons are negative. So once you start having positive thoughts, the neuron connections are small. So it's only flashes in your brain. It takes a while for those to get stronger. I'm giving you a scientific fact right now. And once those neurons get stronger, then all of a sudden the positive neurons will be more powerful than the negative ones. So then it will be easy to think more positive. Right now it's easy for you to think negative. Easy. You've been doing it for all your life. You don't even have to work at it. So if you want to have a change in your mindset, you actively have to work at it before it becomes unconscious and you just do it automatic. That doesn't happen overnight. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm going way off tangent. Let me stick with my slides here. You must set short-term and long-term goals. Short-term and long-term goals, both personal and business. Both personal and business. Personal goals. Where do you see yourself a year from now? Where do you see yourself 6 months from now? How much money do you want to make? You know, what type of car do you want to drive? What type of clothes do you want to wear or you want to buy that you were never able to do before? What restaurant do you want to take your wife out to that you haven't done in a long time? You know, little things like that. Short-term goals. Long-term goals. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Are you still working a job? Are you still living in the same house? You still driving the same car? Have you decided to start doing what you're really passionate about? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? See, here's the deal. If you don't set a goal where you want to be 5 years from now, 5 years is going to come anywhere, and it's like you're shooting in the dark. You got to have a goal to shoot for. Business goals. I don't care what business you're in, your first 30 to 60 days is the most important time in your business, period. Why? Because you need to develop a story for yourself. You need to have a story. See, people don't care about the facts. They want to know your emotional story. How has it worked for you? Have you made any money yet? Does the product and services work? Is your team building? Have you gotten promoted? Are you still working the business, or are you promoting 5 different things at the same time? Your first 30 to 60 days is the most important. So set your short-term goals. Here's business 101. Be in profit immediately. If you're in Vitel and it costs you $49, then you want to make that money back your first day in the business. What are you waiting for? I'll get into that a little later for those that are ignorance on fire and the others that want to make sure that they understand 100% of everything before they move a muscle. There's a difference. But business 101, get in profit as fast as possible. No monthly overhead. Your business is paying for itself. That's a short-term goal. How about long-term goal? How about being able to earn 4 to 5 figures a month in residual income? How about being able to walk off your job? How about hitting the top position of the company? How about, am I still going to be in my company a year from now? How about that? See, in America, in network marketing today, over the past 5 years, it's rare you find somebody that gets started in a business and they're still with the same business a year later. It's rare, unfortunately. It wasn't that way when I first joined this industry because there was only so many companies around. 4 or 5 big ones at the time. But because of the internet today, any joker with website skills can start a company and put some hype on board and have 5,000 people sign up in a week because they want to get in pre-launch. They want to get positioned right? I want to be one of the original founders. And then 30 days later, they're on to something else. And then they're on to something else. And they wonder why they're not making any money. But they blame the company, their upline, or anybody else for their failures, even though they jumped around every 3 months. So a long-term goal needs to be, I need to be here. There is no business in the world where you are having overnight, long-term immediate success overnight. 3 to 5 years is what it takes. 3 to 5 years is what it takes. So if you cannot commit to being here longer than 60 days, leave right now. Go back to your job. Or remain a poser and a Facebook warrior because you think you look cool because you have all these businesses you're a part of. You're a master of what? Multitasking? You're a master of multitasking and a master at yet nothing. You're busy being broke. This isn't that type of training. That's another day. Let me keep going here. It takes time to grow anything. Like I said earlier, this is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time. Some people have immediate success. Others people it takes time. When I first joined this industry, I remember one of my mentors said, if you remain with the same company, or even in this industry actively, but mostly in the same company, planting your seeds for at least 10 years, you will reach the top position of the company. And if you want to know what your income is going to be, just look at how much money are the people at the top position of the company earning. And then if you look at, is 10 years going to come anyway? Yes. Would you be satisfied with earning that type of money 10 years from now? If you don't do it, how much money are you going to be earning 10 years from now doing what you're doing right now on your job? So when I heard that, I was 21 years old. And I said, wow, 10 years from now, I'm going to be 31. I love to be a regional vice president and making $1 million a year, and I'm 31 years old. I'll stick it out for 10 years. Guess what? I quit. Oh, yeah. Yes, I quit. One of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life. I've lost 4 years because I quit. It wasn't happening fast enough. My upline wasn't helping me out enough. My downline wasn't doing the things they were supposed to do. People were quitting on me. New companies were coming out and they were looking more greener over there, so my people were jumping over to. I had every single excuse in the book. Life happened. I got married. I had a kid. Things are too hectic in my life right now. I can't work my business. It's just not working. Wah, and I quit. And went to a cubicle and ended up getting laid off twice. Quitting. It takes time to grow anything. It's like a bamboo seed. When you plant a bamboo, you got to water it. And it doesn't grow immediately. In fact, it takes a long time before that seed starts to sprout. Sometimes it may take 2 to 3 years. And all of a sudden when it does, it shoots up faster. It's one of the fastest growing trees in the world once it starts to sprout. But it took years to get to that point. It wasn't a gradual growth. It just happened rapidly, like overnight. Think about this. Tyler Perry even says this. He spent 8 years, thousands upon thousands of dollars of his own money to put his dream together, and was failing every single year. And then all of a sudden, breakthrough, and he's a multi-millionaire like almost overnight. So people who look at his success, they think that he overnight winner, but they don't look at the 8 years it took him to get there. I played the video for those of you who I told you log on 10 minutes early. I played a video where you heard, what's his name? Oh my, Jim Carrey. And what did Jim Carrey say? I wrote myself a check for $10 million that he was going to have by 1995 or so. Year after year after year, nothing happened. And all of a sudden, he did Dumb and Dumber. What happened? He got a $10 million to do that one movie. Overnight. It seems like it's overnight. People looking, Brandon, how'd you hit RVP in 6 months? How'd you retire in 3.5 months? No, I didn't do it in 3.5 months. I did it in 13 years. I've been putting in work to get to this point. It wasn't luck. It didn't happen overnight. I just happened to find the right vehicle, Vitel, that made it possible. So it takes time to grow anything. Stay consistent and work your business. It won't work unless you work it. I signed up a brand new rep on January 2nd. I told this brand new person, we have a simple duplicatable system. I'm going to send you an email. Follow the steps. And then give me a call once you're done so that we can do a game plan. I never got the phone call. Here's the thing, especially when you deal with me. I don't hold anybody's hand. I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink it. I will tell you exactly what you need to do, but it's up to you to do it, and I will help you do it. But you got to show up. And I get an email from him yesterday that says, Brandon, it doesn't work. I'm disappointed with Vitel. That's how it started. I'm disappointed with Vitel. This is how he started. I've been in the business 20-something days, and I don't have anybody on the team. And you didn't move anybody underneath me. So I'm going to cancel my membership because it didn't work. I'm about to say something, but I can't. I got to be respectful. Well, I will say this. That's the talk of losers. No, you didn't work the business. You didn't follow instructions. When was the last time you were on a webinar? When was the last time you invited somebody to see the presentation? When was the last time you actually did a three-way call so that I can build your business for you? You have the easiest job in the world, asking people if they're open for an opportunity. And if you don't open your mouth to do that, you're not going to have any results. Therefore, you failed, not the business. But most people can't accept that, and they will never point blame at themselves, and it's easier because they can sleep at night saying it wasn't their fault. And they will always be saying it wasn't their fault and will always be a loser. You can recognize, see, this is how I recognize the winners from the losers. I spend 90% of my time with people who want it, not people who need it, because everybody needs it. But not everybody wants it. A lot of people wish for it. There's a difference. So stay consistent, work your business. It won't work unless you work it. You must put in some time if you want to get time. You cannot expect to reap a harvest if you have not sowed any seed. Did that gentleman who sent me that email sow any seeds whatsoever? No. He paid his money to get started and thought it was a lottery ticket and thought that it magically was going to happen just because he's in the business. That's like putting on your basketball jersey, putting on your Reebok or Nike sneakers, stepping on the court and expecting to score 50 points. You got to put in the work. When I was little, I used to watch G.I. Joe, and they said knowing is half the battle, but showing up is more than half the battle. You got to show up. This is very important. Ignorance on fire is way better than intelligence on ice, aka paralysis of analysis. Ignorance on fire is way better than intelligence on ice. See, and I'll get into this when I talk about the personality traits. But when I joined Vitel, I didn't know everything, and I didn't care. I only needed to know the basics. I learned one thing by watching and studying successful people. Most of the highly successful people, they make a decision, and they make decisions very quickly. Donald Trump talks about this all the time. Being able to make quick decisions. They don't worry about the how. As a matter of fact, they don't care about the how because they know once they make a decision, their work ethic is good enough that they will make it happen. They'll figure it out later. If it's of value, they say let's roll. If they don't see value in it, they say I pass. And it's a quick, immediate decision. That's how I operate. I saw value in Vitel. I was not looking at where Vitel was today. I was looking at where Vitel is going to be 2-3 years from now. See the difference? And I was on fire. It took 4 months for me to figure everything out where I was comfortable with it. And I had made 5 figures well by that point. I had people at the time that saw this business at the same time I did. And they were paralysis of analysis. They said, I think I got to do more research. I think I need to learn exactly how this works. I need to know more. Let me watch this for a little bit. 4 months goes by. Okay, I'm comfortable now. I think I got it. Then they join. Oh, nobody's joining me. You want to know why nobody's joining you? Because they're doing the exact same thing you did. I think I need to figure this out. So at that rate, you'll have 1 or 2 signups every 4 months. You know what I did? I was just so freaking excited about it and on fire. People wanted to come and watch me burn. What are you doing, Brandon? I don't know what it is, but sign me up. Isn't that what most people do? Isn't that what happened with Solivay, for example? Nobody knew what that was all about. They just saw CeeLo Green dancing on stage, all this purple everywhere, and it was brand new, so everybody signed up. Hype. People follow the crowd. Set yourself on fire. People will come to watch you burn. Ignorance on fire is much better than intelligence on ice. And people may say that, well, that's a bad business move to make. There's too much risk involved. So what? If I fail, I fail. I get up and do it again somewhere else. I'm not afraid of risk. Albert Einstein failed 10,000 times before he had a success. I'm sorry, I don't want to mean Albert Einstein. I want to talk about Thomas Edison. It only took one success to change the world. And he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways why a light bulb won't work. Most people would give up at 1 or 2 failures, White. No, he never gave up. So be ignorant on fire. Start to develop the right mental attitude. Have long-term thinking. And treat your business like $1 million business, not a $100 business. The good and bad thing about network marketing is that it allows anybody who has a desire to start their own home-based business without having to have a silver spoon in their mouth, without having to have the right pedigree, without having to get born on the right side of the tracks, without having to have a business degree or an education, without having to have a whole lot of money, can get themselves in business at a very affordable cost. That's the good thing about network marketing. Here's the bad thing about network marketing. It allows people who were not born on the right side of the tracks, people who don't have an education in business, people who only have a job mentality, people who don't understand business, period, and never owned a business, to be able to get started in their own business for very low cost. It's both good and bad. Some of you will get that before you go to sleep tonight, why I said it like that. But most people will look at this like it's a hobby. I got an extra $100 in the bank. Let me go test this thing out. I'll stick my foot in the water and see. You know, if I don't make $10,000 next month, then I'll just quit. And not only will I quit, I'm going to tell everybody that thing don't work. It doesn't work. You're wasting your time. They stole my money. They stole my $100. That's the bad thing. The quality of people that network marketing allows can also be a negative. We got to sort through those people for the right quality type people. Some of you may be offended by what I say, and I can care less. I'm talking strictly business. This is not personal. This is the truth. You don't see broke cousin Pookie down the corner owning an apartment complex. He doesn't have the skills nor the resources to get it. He disqualifies himself. But cousin Pookie down the corner can still get started in a home-based business if he scrounges up a little bit of money. I'm telling you the truth. Whether or not he'll be able to work it or not is a different thing. But people get started and treat this like a $100 business. And here's another thing, psychologically speaking. People don't realize that they spent 30 to 40 years of their lives to get to where they are right now, which is unhappy, not satisfied, not content, wanting more, broke as a joke. And then they decide, I think at this point I should do something different, obviously. Because if I keep doing what I've been doing, I'm going to keep getting what I've been getting. Congratulations on at least having that realization. See, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, yet expecting a different result. 97% of the people will never do anything different, but they will always expect a different result. Congratulations on at least knowing that you must do something different. But then this is where 97% of those people fail. They get into a business and expect to have a complete turnaround in their lives in 60 days. And if it doesn't happen, they quit and go back to their job, or they jump ship to another company because they think the grass is greener somewhere else. They think it's easier. They think it's automated. All they have to do is push a button. Instead of working on becoming better, instead of working to learn skills to be a better business owner, they decide to find something that's easier to do. If there was something that was easier, then everybody would be rich. So get that stinking thinking out of your brain right now. It is not easier. It's simple, but it's not easy. You have to learn skills necessary to build your business and understand from a business standpoint, you're not going to become a millionaire in 60 days. This is not the lottery. This is not a $1 big draw ticket. I treat this business like a $1 million business. People cry, oh, I got to pay $49 a month. What? Are you kidding me? Really? You kidding me? Let me give you another business 101 ethics here. Just the fact that you own your own home-based business gives you tax benefits. So if you never make a dime and all you're doing is spending $50 a month, that's $600 a year, you're still eligible to receive up to $3,000 in tax write-offs right back into your pocket the very next year. You spent $600 and got $2,000 back from the government. Huh. $100 a month? Are you kidding me? That's $3.33 a day for you to own your own home-based business. My godfather spent $250,000 to open up his own Quiznos, knowing that he's not going to be in profit for 5 years. Spending $10,000 a month to stay in the business. Why? Because he knows that once he retires, at least his business will be in profit. He can live off of that. You think he's treating it like a $100 business? People are looking at how much it costs rather than how much can I make. I spent $69, because that's how much it cost for me to join Vital last year. I spent $69 one time and have made thousands of dollars since then. Why? Because I was looking at, I want to earn 6 figures a month. Not worry about a Happy Meal a day that I couldn't afford. I also had to look at myself in the mirror. Gut check moment. You're a grown man, a father, a husband with kids, Morehouse College graduate, 10 years in corporate America, and you don't have an extra $100 for your own business. Obviously, what you're doing is not working. But the most important question is, what are you willing to do about it? I spend over $1,000 a month in my business. $1,000 a month for my business. I don't treat this like a $50 or $100 business. When I'm earning 6 figures a month, guess what? I'm going to be spending $10,000 a month in my business. Probably more at that point. How about you? The most important things you can bring to your business is work ethic, desire, commitment, be coachable, be excited. You got to have work ethic. This is not a job. You don't have a boss telling you what to do. Yeah, you have an upline, but this is your business, not your upline's business. The upline can only show you what to do. The upline can't fire you. Most people aren't used to what's the word? Oh, my mind went break on that. But you know what I mean. Most people aren't used to that. You answer to yourself. And if you don't have a good work ethic, it's a good word, motivation, self-motivation. If you don't have good work ethic, then you're not going to get to where you want to go. The bad thing is you don't see an immediate consequence for having a bad work ethic. You see it over time is when it hits you. The thing about a home-based business, because you're planting seeds, the work you do today, you see the results of 3 months from now. Not next week, not next month. The work you do today, you see the results of in March. The work you do in March, you'll see the results of in June. So you got to work hard today. Plant, water that bamboo seed even though you don't see any growth. Another person told me, well, Brandon, I don't have time to work the business. You don't understand. I have 2 jobs. I have a family. I'm busy. Here's my answer to you. You're busy being broke. Whatever it is you're doing doesn't work. So look at whatever's taking up all your time. What is not making you any money? Eliminate that from your schedule and insert your business in its place. Well, it's easy for you to say, Brandon, you don't work a job. You do this all day long. Really? I didn't start out that way. See, when I started, not only was I working a job from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., I'm a husband, I'm a father, I had another business, tutoring company with my brother. I was in another home-based business as well, where I was one of the leaders on the team. I would come home at 6 p.m. at night, barely be able to eat dinner before my phone's blowing up because people want to do 3-way calls. And I got to do the webinar. See, it's hard for people to show up to a webinar. How about doing the webinar every single day? You got to prepare for it. You have to make the videos. You have to make the slides. You have to be the counselor for people who want to call and ask 1,000,001 questions. For people who call and want to cry about a situation in their life. And there's 100 of them. Attempt to spend some time with your wife. Go to sleep at 3 in the morning to get up at 6 and do it all over again. I did that for 45 days. I didn't have any time. I made the time. Someone says, Brandon, how many hours should I put in a week for my business? What? Is that a trick question? I don't understand. See, for me, it's when the job gets done. There is no time limit. There is no, I clock in and I clock out. I'm always clocked in until the job gets done. Why? You work hard now, then you can play and party later. Since I worked hard at the beginning, I can wake up whenever I feel like it now and go to that park and make a video. And instead of going back to my job, I go to the gym or Best Buy to go spend some more money, or get on a plane and go travel somewhere just because I can. But you had to put in the work at the beginning. And I got even a little lazy on it, I admit it. I worked harder when I had a job than I do now that I don't. Go figure. I had a burning desire. A burning desire. Since I don't have time to train on that, when you have the opportunity, YouTube Les Brown and Desire. And watch whatever he has to say about it. That'll take care of that. You have to be committed. See, commitment means you're going to do something, doing what you say you're going to do long after the feeling has subsided. Doing something you say you're going to do long after the feeling has subsided. Does that make sense? Another Les Brown quote just popped out of my head. Oh man, it'll come to me again later. One of my favorite quotes. But most people date their business. Oh, here it is. If you want to have the things today that other people don't have, you have to be willing to do the things tomorrow other people are not willing to do. Most people are not willing to commit. They're in the honeymoon phase. They're in the dating phase, or for some of you old people, the courting phase. The lust phase, right? You are so captivated with the other person. You're excited. It's like explosions going on around you. You can't wait to be with each other. And then the newness starts to wear off. And you see another skirt walking down the street that starts to excite you. The grass is starting to look greener somewhere else. So you dump the beautiful one you have to jump on something else that you don't know. To get that excitement all over again. you're dating your business. You need to marry your business. Marriage means commitment. Marriage means that you are committed through the good and the bad, and I guarantee you there will be bad. I guarantee there will be bad. The one thing about business, it never goes exactly according to plan. Never. Never. Do you know the average millionaire has filed for bankruptcy 2.5 times in their life? That's right, the average millionaire. What's the difference? They got up and kept on moving. Somebody quits on your team, so what? You dating it still? I had NSCs on my team who were still dating the business. They weren't committed. They're committed to perfection, and nothing is ever perfect. I guarantee you things will go wrong in your business. What separates those who make it and those who don't are the people who learn to adapt and adapt quickly. See, in a good economy, rich people make money. In a bad economy, rich people make more money. What do you mean? Isn't everybody going through the same situation? Yes, they adapt better than everybody else. They find opportunity in bad situations. Learn this. Learn this skill. It will be a skill that will save you. Be coachable. I told a story last night about my being coachable, and I'm not going to tell it this week because I said it last week. About when I first got started, I was not coachable, and I failed miserably when I first got started. I didn't do nothing that they told me to do. I learned my lesson, but I was ready to quit. I had a thought that came to my mind. Say, hey, this isn't working. The business doesn't work. No, I didn't work it the right way. And then I decided, you know what? These guys must know what they're talking about. Let me do it their way. I did it their way, and I got promoted within the next week. Be coachable. I don't care what your background is, where you come from, how much money you've made, how large your organization has been. You had. This is a different beast. Follow the system that already works first, and then create your own. How about that? Can we do that? I want to put money in your pocket today. I know how to do that. Just follow the system. And you have to be excited. You got to be excited about your business. Excitement does not mean hype. Excited means you're just excited about what you're doing. People can feel the energy from you, whether you're in person or even on the phone. If you're not excited about what you're doing, why in the world should somebody else be excited as well? Follow the system. Follow the system. You will be going through an emotional roller coaster. Don't make your highs too high and your lows too low. Some will, some won't, some wait. So what? Next, everybody, go get this book. Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. I haven't read this in about a year. It's time for me to read it again. But I have read it about 7 times. Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. This will shave 6 months off your learning curve if you're brand new. It's going to prepare you for what you're going to deal with. This is a people business, which means you have to deal with people. And I hate to say it, but people are crazy. Not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody's going to see the same thing you see. Not everybody's going to be excited at what you're excited about. Not everybody's personality is the same. They're all different. People are going to say no to you more often than yes. So you don't get too upset. I had another person, well, I'm going to quit because people said no. Of course people said no. If everybody said yes, there wouldn't be an opportunity. People are going to say no. Some will, some won't. So what? Move on to the next. Focus on the people who say yes.